Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another one of our little live podcasts on the project Facebook page. Nice to be here again, of course. Every day is a bonus, isn't it? It would be nice to hear from you as soon as we can get you on. Please come say hello, let me know you're there. Lots to talk about today, and I'd like to get down to it ASAP. So I'm going to have a little look around and see what we've got and who we've got. All right, we've only actually got one person viewing, but that's all right. Please come and say hello to me, and whoever you are, come and speak, and we'll get it on. It's Steve Connolly. How you doing, Steve? I hope you're all right, mate. Thank you for joining us today. My new mic was a bit echoey the other day, and I've just had a few little adjustments with it and moved it around a bit, and I think it's going to be better today. The diffuser's in a better position and blah blah blah, so hopefully it's better. And I think sometimes because I talk a bit too loud as well, so hopefully you can hear me. Steve, we're going to have a nice long chat about what happened last night. A really sort of interesting game. It panned out in a really sort of strange way, not the way I expected it to, but no team lies down and dies for anyone, and particularly teams that are struggling at the foot of the table. But that aside, we're going to talk. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for that, mate. It just gives me some idea of what it sounds like. I honestly haven't had a chance to do a sound check or anything. I've come in today literally straight from work, and where I don't have any access to any sort of news or anything while I'm working, because as you probably know, I work in personal training and rehabilitation, so I'm with clients all the time, so you can't really say, hang on a minute, I'm just going to check my Facebook page or whatever, or have a look at the headlines on Sky Sports. But just give me one moment. I'm just fanning around a little bit. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm back with you. Give me a sec, and hopefully we'll all be there then. Yeah. All right then. Let's just have a little catch up on a few comments that are there. Chris Trainer Smith is saying, I'm at work, Steve. Trainer, he's a quick hello. How you doing, Chris? I hope you're all right, mate. Hope everything's good. I presume you went last night with your daughter. It must have been great. Scott Harrison, hi Steve. Robbed again last night. Yeah, I think a lot of things really conspired against us last night. One of them, I think, was poor officiating, and that isn't just about an offside goal that really should have stood for a number of reasons. I'll explain to you in a minute why I think that is. A goal that was, there was a handball on the line. I don't think for a moment he intended to play the ball, but by it hitting his hand, it stopped the ball going in the net. That was a penalty, in my opinion. There was another incident. Excuse me, it's hot today. We've got a really warm day here. There was that incident. I think it was Pake, who was just on the edge of the Albion box, just a bit further out in right side of midfield, and that tackle came in on him really hard. Second that tackle went in, I was like, red card. The commentators were like, oh, you probably get booked for that. When they replayed it, they were like, he's a lucky boy. I forget who it was. Was it the ex-Villa man? But anyway, a really bad tackle. They should have been down to 10 men after about 30 minutes. I don't know how the referee missed that. Sean Baldock's there. Okay, Steve. Tom now being ill. is it deja vu, Tony Mowbray? Well, let's hope not, Sean. I mean, the main thing is that Tom Wagner gets well. I mean, I don't care about what happens, you know, in terms of the club. The man needs to get well, and no one would wish a stroke on anyone, would they? And we've got Tom Healy there. You know, Tom is just the two Toms, you know, just as important as each other. He's probably Tom Healy isn't quite as high profile as Tom Wagner, but he's there. You know, nothing's going to change, so you know, there's no reason to panic. All right, so the main thing is that the chairman gets well. What we're going to do later on today is I'm going to send Jeremy Dale an email wishing him on behalf of all of our 25,000 members to wish Tom a speedy recovery, and that we're all thinking of him, and you know, just make sure he gets well before he even thinks about coming back to work. Ross Lendell's saying, afternoon mate, I hope our fans see what Pike brings to the team. We look so much better with him making things tick. Paul James, hi Steve, sad to hear the news about Tom, but I'm sure he will be fine. I hope so. Excuse me, I've got a rogue piece of equipment here. Ross, it was something I had, you know, on my agenda to talk about, this Pike thing. Now, I hope all of you know, despite me explaining why Doyle doesn't play alongside Solis, you could see why last night, couldn't you? Because last night, John Solis had to cover the gaps that were left every time the ball, or every time Doyle took the ball forward or tried to take players on. He didn't do the Pike job. These are two defensive midfielders. Doyle last night, I mean, you know, don't get me wrong, he put a few good free kicks in, and he's run around and he worked hard, you know, but he's no Pike, and there's no substitution for Pike. And for those of you now, I hope you're not going to say again, you know, why isn't Doyle playing alongside Solis? We know a lot of people have got a target on Pike's back, just like Doyle. We know it. Don't pretend by saying I'm not the guy that says this, but you know, or I'm not the sort of person to, but you know, I don't say these sort of things usually, but I'm about to say them. You know, I'm not having any more of that crap. We had people last night, you know, the game finishes, it's not like how unlucky were we, you know, it weren't like the Albion player, goalkeeper, who looked dodgy, you know, saved them, he played out of his skin, you know, not the fact that, you know, Priscott really scored his first goal, not that, you know, when Vicente came on, that he made all that much difference, you know, he was absolutely brilliant. No, the thing wasn't Doyle, wasn't Beadle's kicking shit. That's the first thing that comes to him, and that's why, you know, Beadle's got a target on his back. Anything that can get at him. The other one that's got a target on the back is Chris Davis. You go and make them comments about players and managers if you want, but don't do it in this group. It ain't going to happen with us. So they keep trying, and you can try. Listen, I'm used to those passive-aggressive comments. I'm used to people trying to like put the shit out there before, you know, and load the bullets and get someone else to fire them. It ain't going to happen. You know, you make a comment, I tell you to leave it, please. You don't leave it, you're gone. And you can tell me to stick my group up my arse. I don't care. That's how it is. Jerry Can, that's a great name, that, isn't it? So Jerry Can's the only thing to put petrol in it, mate. It's nice to see you, Jerry. Thank you for coming to us. I wish Tom a speedy recovery. Last night's game, we were never going to win. The mistakes the Baggies made, the ball went back to them. The second balls favoured the Baggies. Then when we made mistakes, the ball went to them. In my opinion, now we're going to get the opinion. So there should have or could have been 3 red cards. Definitely one. one for a dreadful foul, second for a handball. I don't think that was an intentional handball, so I don't think that was a red card. Third was deliberate foul. That's right at the end. Yeah, you're right. There was two. I reckon you're right there, Jerry. There were two. There was a lot of things. The other thing that worked against us last night, or conspired against us, was the weather. It was awful. And this is a comment that comes from someone who thought it was Beadle's fault that we didn't win last night. He said that his kicking's absolutely atrocious. I mean, why he has to kick like that? And it was all going too long or going into touch. And I said the conditions were awful. That's all I said. The guy come back and went, well, if he can't kick, there was no wind. There's something wrong with him when he can't kick in those conditions. It was absolutely pissing down. The ball was soaking wet. Listen, 90% of you have never played fucking football in your lives, right? So don't even go there. Hitting a ball in those conditions from 100 metres and trying to get it to someone's feet is a really difficult thing. And the other reason that Beadle kept going long was because the Albion's press was really impressive. They had Neumann and Clara marked for attention. When that ball went to them, they were on them like a shot. They covered us. They covered our route out of defence very, very well for 70-80% of the time. So Beadle gets complained about if he passes it out from the back. If there's nowhere to pass to and he goes long, he gets complained about why did he go long. Right, just don't want to hear that shit anymore. Brian Rumble, good morning to you. It's an afternoon, Brian. I think you did. I did forecast a 0-0. Derbies are always a hard game. Good. It was like, and I don't want to sound sort of bitter towards the Albion here, but we're a much better team than the Albion. They did what they could do. Their manager, to be honest, didn't look like he had a clue at times, and the idea to press was good. The other thing they did, I think, which caused us problems, I did mention it about team selection, was I think that Pat Roberts was the wrong selection to play wide right in this game, and I said that, and the reason is because Pat Roberts inverts all the time. He comes inside and he gets the ball on his left foot. Albion on that right hand side had every pathway for Roberts blocked. He rarely got through. When Vicente come on and he goes around the back, it becomes a different thing. How many times did Vicente cross the ball in those last 20 minutes from the wide right, or did he bring it in, or did he try a shot? It was completely different when Vicente came on. He opened it up. That's not a knock at Pat Roberts. It's just that Vicente is going to be more he's going to be more valuable in some games and Roberts is in others. And last night Vicente, in my honest opinion, was the wrong player for it. But it's easy to say that with hindsight. We had two really good wingers out there last night. Well, we had three really good wingers out there. Pat Roberts is a great winger, just different to Vicente. Osman had a good game. He was one of the better players. Wagner probably could have been our man of the match. I think the Albion keeper was the man of the match. I think we struggled a lot bringing the ball out and passing it. So for those of you that think that Beadle was shit for not being able to pass the ball to feet from 100 metres in driving rain, you might also want to address the centre halves who were having trouble finding, well, not just the centre halves, Doyle, Solis a few times, who were having trouble finding a pass from 3 yards to get to feet. The conditions were awful. The ball on the floor was terrible. There was water, there was splash, there was actually splashing when players were running in some areas of the pitch. I don't know what to say, our supporters sometimes shock me, they really do. And it's a sad state of affairs when it's like that. We last night moved within 1 point of the playoffs. I think we have a 69 point target, And forget where we are in the table. It don't matter. We're 10th, we're 8th, we're 6th, we're 4th, we're 15th. It doesn't matter. We have a points target. I think 69 will get us into playoffs, into that 6th place. So now that's what the target is. So, you know, we'll work it out. We need just under 2 points a game. You can lose a game, you can win a game. That gives you, you know, that winning a game and losing a game gives you 3 points, doesn't it? Well, we've just had 2 games. We've won 1 and drawn 1, haven't we? That's 4 points, isn't it? That's 2 points a game. So, you know, we're on target. We're going to get difficult games in the last 15. We're going to get easier games. Norwich away should be a game that suits us because everyone's saying, well, they're playing really well. Well, so are we. You know, we've lost 1 in 10. Our ability to pass the ball on a good surface, which Norwich is absolutely brilliant. And we know Norwich are going to come out. They're not going to be like Albion. They're not going to try and stop us playing. They're going to want to play themselves. When teams want to play us, we're going to play them to death. So the Norwich game, no worries. Middlesbrough, I think they were a bit fortunate in the first time we played them. So those games, you know, we can beat these teams. We can beat any team in that division. Yeah. And another comment that was coming out of the supporters yesterday was after the game. Look, why buy all that talent that's on the bench and then not put them on? So what, you want to play with 4 wingers? You want to play with what? Who are you talking about? So let's take off some talent that we've just bought and replace them with some talent that we've just bought that's on the bench, but let's take the ones that we're playing and put them on the bench instead. We've bought 7 players or 6 players, we want them all in the team at the same time. When Priska came on, he made a difference. He's strong, he's aggressive, he scored a goal. When that Dimmy, when the goal at the end was disallowed because Dimmy was offside, did you watch the player? I forget who it was, marking Priska. He had him like in a full Nelson and he still beats him to the ball. The guy got both arms wrapped around him. The referee was literally 3 or 4 feet away from him, looking at him. Colin Nichols says, what's happened to Tom Wagner? Carl, he's had a heart attack. He's had a stroke, I'm sorry, he hasn't had a heart attack, he's had a stroke. So, but apparently he's well and he's okay. So, you know, let's all keep our fingers crossed for Tom. We love him, don't we? So then, you know, were the selections wrong last night? Or did we get out-tacticked? Or did the officials and the weather have a big part to play in it, which they did? And you know, you can look at a selection and go, oh, you know, made the wrong decision there playing him. But no, I didn't notice anyone saying it. Well, you're all going to tell me now that, not necessarily you, but anyone that watches this that's not a regular to us, you're going to tell me that, yeah, I said that, you know, I told him he shouldn't have done this, or I told him he shouldn't do that. Well, no one cares about what you think about what he should or shouldn't have done. He's the manager for a reason. And like I said, Chris Davis is another one with a target on his back. You know, carry on, because he ain't going nowhere. And you know, everyone in the close season, we'll settle for mid-table this, you know, now, and then build for next season. What is it now? If we don't get promoted this season, he's got to go. There were people saying last night it's time for him to go. What? Because we drew at home. Fucking hell. The Arby's, it was handball all day. It was, and the thing with that was, it was a handball. It wasn't deliberate. But the thing is, he stopped the ball going in the net, you know. I mean, what more of a handball can you get? He can't, you know, his hand can't be in a natural position because he's fucking sitting on the floor. It was really, really unfortunate. I do think, like, probably Pike should have buried it because he had no one near him and he had the whole goal to aim at. But it's not the point. Like I just said, the conditions were awful. And some of those corners early on were really, really good. We were unfortunate on a number of times. I think we had, I'll just have a little look at the stats for you, because I know we were very, very dominant in everything that we did. Just to go through the player ratings, I've been through a few when I got home, just to see what, just to see like a general I've taken 5 like FOTMob and apps like that, and rounded up the average scores for players. So for all of you that were slagging players off last night, now these aren't Blues players that are making these scores, these players' points per game. So have a listen to this then. So for the last night, the Beadle got a 7.5. Asai Samuel 6.6, Neumann 7.2, Clara 8, Wagner 7.9, Sully 7.6, Pike 6.3, Osman 7.2, Dutch 6.3, Robert 6.3, Stansfield 5.7. So it sort of points out where the area was, where that was the problem. It was down the right hand side. Osman, Asai Samuel couldn't get forward effectively because, like I said, Pat Roberts was just blocked up in that right hand side of the midfield. He was inverting, and Asai Samuel is not that fullback to go forward on marauding runs the way that Ethan Laird does. So he's a good player, but he's left pretty much on his own last night because Pat Roberts couldn't get through. The other side was a much freer with Wagner and Osman. Stansfield had nothing to feed off. The Ducks just sort of went missing again, didn't he? I've said it about him before. He's absolutely brilliant when he's playing, but when he's not playing, you just don't see him. I mean, that was a game last night where your tin hat goes on and you just battle, and it just, unfortunately, I'm sorry, it just wasn't there. And that's something that the German lads have to get used to. Some of the passing was poor, but the conditions. The game last night wasn't made for playing the ball on the ground, was it? And we've seen Albion's main weapon against us was a throw-in. That was their main weapon, a throw-in. We deserved to win that game, happily win it. Their manager's having a mare, and the way I think he handled that game last night and what he wanted out of it, I hope I have to go down. I just think it's so win the World Cup when you get a point at St Andrews. What's the matter with you, Albion? And Dan Garvey's saying Bright had 2 really good runs but should have passed into the middle instead of shooting. Yeah, I can agree, but on that right hand side, passing into the centre was really, really difficult. Everything, they were trying to stop us playing. I'm not having a knock at Asai Samuel, by the way. It's his issue was that his position was affected by the tactics of Albion, which is Albion's job, of course it is. And I was impressed with their press. Their press was relentless and they did well. And then when they take off like 4 or 5 players with 10 minutes to go, literally, or 15 minutes to go, just to get fresh legs on, just to put them behind the ball, that's going to tell you a lot about the Albion. And if you're an Albion fan, you're watching this, I just hope you get a new manager like ASAP. He's awful. And I know he's a young manager. I know he's got a fairly good pedigree. He's come from America. It's not the same. I listened to. You could hear some of the shouts he was making, and he's just whistling all the time, just whistling. And just I don't know, the geezer just nah. And people want to get rid of Chris Davis. What's the matter with you? Dan Redridge is saying the first 10 minutes we looked dangerous, the rest of the game looked clumsy and uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't even know if the first 10 minutes we looked that dangerous. I could just see that game becoming a stalemate the longer it went on. Sometimes I wish, and it never happens, managers never do it, you'd make a change after 30 minutes, because I would have made a change after 30 minutes. I would have tried. I would have brought Vicente on the right. That changes the game. It opens it up on the right hand side. What do I know? I'm not a manager. Bringing him on after half an hour might be absolutely the wrong thing to do. I don't know. And I've got the greatest respect for Chris Davis. I think he's a brilliant manager. So honestly, I don't know. There was the injury to Pake is a real blow to us. And I've seen someone say earlier, he just jarred the shoulder that he dislocated last time. I think that shoulder's dislocated again, and if it is, he could be out for a couple of months. So let's hope that isn't the case. Like I said, I work in rehab, and dislocations of the shoulder can be anything from 2 weeks to 6 months to career ending. We miss Pake. I think Iwata looked better when he come on. That right hand side needed freshening up, and he got it with Vicente and Iwata coming on. Priska looked everything you want him to be, and what I love about him, he doesn't sit in the middle and whack for the ball to his head. I mean, the lad's fast as well, he's strong, and he mixes it up. He don't mind putting his foot in, he doesn't mind having a battle. I love Priska for that. And Dux and Stansfield last night, Stansfield can't fire if the number 10 isn't doing something for him, and Stansfield had to keep coming backwards, trying to do something for himself and get the ball. It was a little bit like Solis with Doyle. Doyle, although he was on the ball quite a lot, and some of his dead balls were really good when he took them, and of course so was Wagner's. But his positional play left an awful lot to be desired in terms of John Solis, because he wasn't the partner that Solis has had for the last 3 games. Those two, him and Pake, look absolutely solid together. Last night, that injury did cause us issues because we lost that solidity. I mean, Solis still had a good game. He was still one of our best performers, but he didn't look that comfortable, did he, as the game went on? With Doyle by his side, he just didn't. Paul James saying the conditioned staff was just one of them. No, it was one of those nights, and bloody hell, we didn't lose. We didn't concede a goal. We got a point. We're a point away from the playoffs. Forget what position we're in, it doesn't matter. We're 10th, we're 13th, we're 17th, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't. What matters is that we hit the points target. And I heard Chris Davis has given them a points target. Look lads, we need to hit this 69 or 70 points. It might even be lower. The way the games are going, look at Leicester last night. How did Sheffield United get 3 points out of that? They're level with us on points now. There's probably 10 teams that are chasing that 6th place. And when we won last night, we would only be 5 points beyond Millwall, and then it looks a bit different again, doesn't it? But we were 8 points beyond 6th place only a month ago. We're 1 point behind it now. So anything can happen in this division. And for one, Millwall don't look the best outfit, and they haven't got the deepest of squads. I'm just having a quick look at the table. So above us, the 2 that I think could definitely catch up, 3, Millwall, Hull and Ipswich. So I know, okay, they are, alright, Wrexham, who are 6th, are 6 points in front of us now. God knows how that happened. And then we got Millwall, who are a further 6, so 12 points is an awful lot to make up, of course it is. And someone was saying earlier that, or yesterday, we can get into the top 2. That's going to be extremely impossible. To be honest, we have to have our eyes set on that 6th place, and looking at the teams that are going for it, looking around. Alright, Wrexham have got a game in hand to us. So Bristol City, Preston, but they might lose that game in hand. And out of all those teams, we're the best team there, definitely. So it's just down to us to do it and hope that the gods smile on us. Southampton, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry, mate. Yeah, Southampton, not Sheffield United. Yeah, great victory for them. They're actually a point behind us, I think, are they? No, they're level with us. Exactly level with us. So great victory for them. I always get them two mixed up because they begin with a Sir and they got red and white stripes. It's fair enough, isn't it? And then, looking down the other end of the table, Leicester in 32 points, I mean, they really are in danger of going down. Then the Blackburn, Portsmouth and West Brom look like the likely candidates for relegation, so who cares? I'm not. Okay, then put out an only table that matters is the one after 46 games. That's absolutely true, Pete. It is, and be interesting to see the team we play against Leeds. I think we're going to see a lot of changes in that game. I think we're going to probably, so I don't want to say a weakened side because we have got, we can field two very good teams, but I don't think we're going to see like a first team set up for that game. I'm thinking Gray will play. I'm thinking Priska will probably start. You're going to get the likes of Doyle in there. Panzo will almost definitely start alongside Neumann, I think. Clara needs a break, his missus just had a baby and all that. Pake's going to be out. Iwata will probably be in the midfield again with Asai Samuel back in the number 2. Lee, was good to see Gray back, and isn't it mad that he really did make a difference to us. Straight away you see what a quality player is. We have two absolutely class left wingers, don't we? And listen, seasons go fast, don't they? The World Cup's coming up. If we don't get promoted, if we don't make the playoffs, it's what everyone was telling me in the close season. We just got to, stay up this season and consolidate. If you don't think we've got a really good team and you don't think we've got a team that's consolidated from last season, you don't understand what you're watching. That team is class. Paul, we are well capable now of going on a run. Squad in depth over most the others is a massive plus to have. It is. We did really, really well in the close season, didn't we? And I don't want to sound like I'm it really frustrates me when supporters straight away, the first thing they do, we played well, at times. We deserve to win. The actual game itself, we had 59% possession to 41. Our expected goals was 1.25. Albion's was 0.47. It tells you everything. We had 16 shots to Albion's 9. We had 5 on target to Albion's 1. Albion didn't bother us at all. Beaver wasn't worried by anyone. And to lose Pake after 15 minutes is a big blow because the team's set up to play with Pake in it. And then, we're not going to make 2 or 3 changes because Pake's gone off. We're only going to make 1 and then we'll wait and see what happens at half time. Blah, blah, blah. Rebecca's on. I'm glad you come on, Beck. I'm having a right moan today. She's saying afternoon boss. She always makes me feel happy when she says that. It's like a bit of, innit? You got to smile a bit. Paul saying we are well capable now. Yeah, I've just read that one. Yeah, afternoon, Beck. I don't know what your thoughts on last night were. Well, I do. But I'm just saying that, we were unfortunate. We really were. And it would have been so gorgeous if that goal had gone in, wouldn't it? Oh, plus 8 minutes. Yeah, everyone says about Kyogo, if he scores, he's just going to keep scoring. Well, I think that's going to happen with Priska. I honestly do. This lad's going to be something, I think. Watching him again last night, he looks dangerous, he's big, he's not scared. I mean, he looks about 11, doesn't he, like, in his face. If he was working behind the bar and Priska come up and said, "Can I have a pint, please? Have you got your identity, son?" You go, "I'm 6'7". So, "No, but you can't be that old. Look at your face. You look about 11. Well, so do all the policemen." "I know, but it's not the point." He looks young, doesn't he? But he's not scared. He mixes it. And that's when, I don't sound like I'm being dead negative about Docs, but that's what he's got to do. He's got to battle. He doesn't seem to physically put himself about, He's not a little man. He's a big lad. He's 6'1", Duxie, you got to get yourself in there, so mix it up. You scored 6 goals this season. You're a good lad. You got a lovely little pass on you in the right circumstances. I think you played you had a really good shot last night. You're really unfortunate with that. But, you've got to contribute more than that, son. You just have. That's what I'd be saying if I was Chris Davis. But I'm not. So it's one of those, isn't it, really? Anyone got any thoughts about the upcoming Leeds game? Then you've heard what I've got to say about it. I think it's going to be a much weakened team. What does everyone think? Or do we go out to try and win it? I know winning attitude has a lot, says a lot. And I think it would do a lot for the new lads. The other thing last night, of course, you got like quite a few debutants in terms of playing at St Andrews under the lights with a pretty leery crowd. But the Albion fans were loud, weren't they? They really were. Paul saying, kept a clean sheet, job done. How people can even mention his name when that happens is beyond me. You're talking about beat like your mate, he didn't let a goal in. I know. That's the thing. He didn't let a goal in. His goalkeeping recently has been really, really good. He did make some really good clearances yesterday, not off the ground. I mean, when the balls come over, he caught a few. He did flap at one, but that the conditions for goalkeeping last night were terrible. And people are saying, what's the matter? I can't go and Beadle. I can't Beadle hit Osman's feet from 100 metres. What's the matter with him? Lee Harvey, Blues fans, very poor last night, mate. I don't like, knock Blues fans. I mean, they were there and I wasn't. But I do think it was last night a little bit, because it was, if we score early, the roof comes off that place. That goal goes in, that pike header goes in after 12 minutes or whatever. The atmosphere completely changes. The game is on its head, and Albion are done, I think. And that's that's the fine margins that football is about. It didn't go in. It hit his hand. The linesman gave Dimmy offside, even though, in my opinion, he wasn't involved. Their centre half and both arms wrapped around Priska when he headed the ball into the net, and the referee was literally within touching distance of him. It's those things, Beck saying, unfortunate not to win. I think if we played until midnight, it still would have been a 0-0. A point, but a clean sheet, unbeaten St Andrews is a positive. No, we're not unbeaten. We have lost to Hull, but I know what you mean. On to the next one. Yeah, I do think that you're saying if you played till midnight. I honestly think if we played another 10 minutes, we score, because Albion were on the ropes in a big way. They just decided to just block everything up, didn't they? And that's exactly what they did. Lee saying, few mates were at the game, saying the atmosphere was shite. Yeah, I can't comment on it, but yeah, I'll take your word for it. Steve Donnelly saying, starting to slow, killed the fans' atmosphere off. The point with that, Steve, is that you can only you can only start like a train, if certain things are right, you know, like the conditions are right, the opposition doesn't put everyone behind the ball from the first minute, you know. You can't attack a team into wide open space if there is none, and it was sort of like that. We struggled to find the way through last night. The ref wrecked the game. Yeah, I think he did, you know, honestly. I think Albion's tactics spoilt the game a bit as well. They didn't come to do anything really. They are a poor team, aren't they? I'm honestly sort of shocked that we didn't beat them, but we didn't, and we have to move on to the next game. We can't just keep, you know, dissecting everything and then pulling people apart. All we do is destroy ourselves. When you come out of a game after a 0-0 draw like that, and you know we've been unfortunate, which we definitely were, you know, then you can't. You know, the first thing to do is to turn on your players. The thing to do is, well, you know, let's pick some positives out of this. We didn't concede a goal. We were really unlucky, probably not to score 3 in one way or another. Some great performances in there last night from Wagner and Osman and Vicente. Although Solis wasn't probably as effective as he is with Paik alongside him, he still managed to hold that defensive mid together on his own. We kept a clean sheet. The 2 central halves looked really strong, and they're both, you know, both could have been the Blues man of the match. Clara, probably more so than Neumann, and Wagner at the left back was magnificent last night. Solis was great. Stansfield had a poor game, as did Dux, but you know what I was saying earlier about that. So, you know, was it bad? Dimmy came back, he had a run out and he looked really good. He didn't look scared, you know, he looked confident and strong. That was brilliant. Priska's introduction made a big difference to us going forward. Vicente again a couple of times pulled the ball out of the air like it's just an everyday thing, you know. He just completely killed the ball on a number of occasions. Brilliant. But even he was losing control. You know, the conditions, I can't say enough how badly the conditions affected us. It was an awful pitch, and not because the pitch is bad, because it was soaking wet and there was driving rain, you know. I mean, so I don't know, you know, that's sort of my feelings on the game. And the Leeds game, it'll be nice on Sunday for us to relax, play at home in front of a full house against a Premier League team and beat them. You know, let's just hope we beat them. I'm guessing Leeds are going to play a fairly under-strength team. They're trying to stay up. We probably, I think, will play under-strength because we want to go up and we want our players fit for the Norwich game. So, all in all, yesterday, I don't think it was the end of the world. It would have been a lot more worrying had we lost. It would have been more worrying had we drawn 0-0 and looked clueless. We didn't. It just didn't. It was just one of those nights. It didn't work out for us, and not everyone is going to work out for us. And we've got 15 more games, have we? We got 14 more games, have we? Yeah, we got 14 games left now to get ourselves, you know, an average. If we can average just under 2 points a game, we're going to go up. We're not going to go up, we're going to be in the playoffs. And I think if we're in the playoffs, then we've got a marvellous chance of going up. Lee saying all the smoke on the pitch is, yeah, you know, you're right there. I mean, the fireworks are great for the kids and that, it does add to the atmosphere, but I think you're right. I mean, that you couldn't say anything for 20 minutes, could you? It didn't clear, and that can't help the players either. Beck's saying a win on Sunday for Tom Wagner. Yeah, it'd be nice to give Tom a nice win, wouldn't it? Hopefully he'll be watching from his hospital bed. Joking apart, I really hope Tom's all right. You know, Andrew Williams saying Davis, I think we'll put out the strongest side possible for Leeds. Andrew, I agree, he's a winner, I do, but I don't think he will put out the strongest team possible, because the following fixture is a much more important fixture. You know, we're going to Leeds, players are tired after that game, we've only got 6 days, we haven't got a full week to recover after that game. We get a knock, or we get an injury, or we've got players now that could do with a little rest. You know, for instance, Clara could do with a rest. I think I went through, I thought we'll play. I think there's a good chance Allsop will start, not because of anything other than to give him a game, give Beadle a little break. I don't know, like in the amongst the forwards, I think Kyogo's got a great chance of starting. It's not going to hurt Stansfield to start, because a goal wouldn't hurt him. You know, so I think we're going to be looking at it like that, rather than we need to beat Leeds. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think that we should go all out to beat Leeds? Honestly, we want to beat Leeds. We want a home game, you know, in round 4. You know, hopefully either against like fucking Man City, St Andrews, or I don't know, like, you know, Birchfield Harriers or whatever, because we either want to get through, or if we don't go through, we want a big game at St Andrews, a big money spinner, Sky down there, blah, 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 you know, and another chance to, like, perhaps play a slightly less strong team. I might be wrong. Listen, Andrew Williams, I might be wrong. You know, it's just, this is only me. I'm just having a, you know, making an opinion just like you are. He could well go with a really strong side, but I would be surprised. That's all. I wouldn't want to be risking players in a cup game that really, at the end of the day, isn't that important to us. It's a lovely day out for the fans, and it's a lovely opportunity for the players to play against Premier League opposition. Some of the foreign lads who, you know, haven't played in the Premier League can see what a Premier League team's like. I hate saying that about Leeds, because I just don't, you know, I don't like Leeds very much. You probably don't either. So, you know, yeah, go all out like the Newcastle game. Steve, yeah, I mean, that Newcastle game was someone else, wasn't it? And it was interesting when they were asking the players about, like, who scored the best goal. What's the best goal they scored in the career? And Kyo and Iwata was like, Newcastle. That was the best goal he's ever scored, and it was an absolute fucking brilliant goal, wasn't it? Piano with the wide men, I think we need to decide who starts and who finishes a game, and stick with it. Tough call. I think it's down to opposition, Pete, to be honest with you. I think, like, with teams that are going to play football against us, we're probably better off starting with Roberts. With teams that are going to defend high and try and low block, we're better to go around the outside, so we're better with Vicente. Now on the left hand side, again, you got the same thing. You got Osman, who tends to go around the outside, and you got Dimmy, who does cut onto his right foot quite a bit. So the same thing, I think, would apply. So it's quite interesting to look at the teams that we play and see what happens. I mean, Albion held a very high line at times last night, and I was thinking they're going to get caught out in a minute. You know, that line is really high, but the conditions were awful. So playing the ball over the top, even, you know, Osman couldn't seem to get up to speed properly, you know, and the wet ball, the wet feet, you know, boots are wet, soaking wet, the ball's wet. I know that polyurethane, you know, and I know water runs off them, but it still makes a difference to the flight of the ball. You know, someone saying earlier that, like, it doesn't matter if it was absolutely hammering down with rain and the pitch was soaking wet, and when you run it splashed. Not fucking to matter with people. It's going to be a very tough game Sunday, mate. But with Blues, I can see us beating them. I don't think Leeds are that great a team, you know. They've spent money, and you know they're having a go at staying up. I think they will, because I'm hoping that West Ham will go down. They threw 2 points away last night against Man United. So fingers crossed West Ham go down. That's me, that's how I feel. And I don't like Leeds either. I don't like many teams, to be honest. I don't like Leeds and I don't like West Ham. So either of them to go down with the bottom two who have gone in there, Burnley and Wolves. Burnley must get... I don't think... When's the last time Burnley didn't go up or down? Jesus. Imagine being a Burnley fan. I would hate to be a Burnley fan. Do you know why? They wear the same colours as them lot. They wear like a baby pink, a pink and baby blue uniform like B6. I think it's a sellout as well, isn't it? The Leeds game, I'm pretty sure it is. Comments have been low today. I thought they've been really high. You know, we've had quite a few people. I am a little bit early today, I know, but I wanted to get on, get it done, because I've got a busy day today. We've got our new website starting up, and I've got stuff to get done for that. I'm sure I'm going to have a few more battles in the group in the next hour or so from people that have left me messages through the morning. I haven't seen them yet. I'm going to send an email to Jeremy Dale to pass on to Tom Wagner for us, for the group, our group, including you, of course. I know before we've had where we've all put little messages, but I just want to get this done today, so I'll just send that from all of us. Hang on a minute. Yeah, mate. Sad out, my son going. He was at the game last night. I sort of think I understand what he said there, Lee. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I've got a lot of work to do and stuff. So coming on early suits me sometimes. Coming on late to suit you, I know it does. But the thing is, when we do this, like now, I will put this into YouTube later, and I'll put it back into the group, so anyone that wants to watch it at a later time can do. And we do get an awful lot of people watching, which is absolutely brilliant. But this is the best bit, this bit where we have this little chat, you know, and you think, what the is he going on about? What's the matter with him today? Or, Jesus, has he got nothing better to do than fucking moan about everyone? I haven't sometimes. That's what it is. No, but, you know, I've made the point a million times before, and I'll make it again. Don't anyone come into our group and think they're going to slag the players off, slag the manager off, slag the owners off. You're not going to badmouth people in our group. It's as simple as that. You do it, and you just go somewhere else, you know. It ain't going to happen in our group. And I'm surprised, because a few of the people that have done it, I've noticed over the last week, have been with us like from almost the start, and that really surprises me, because people know what we like. Why would you do that? I think people sometimes get over excited after a game, so sometimes it is good not to go on social media straight after a game. I actually was on it last night late, because I was trying to respond to some comments that went into the group. You know, I'm up every day at 5:15, and I went to bed last night at about 12, so you don't get an awful lot of sleep. And then I was dreaming, I had a horrible dream. Over here we have these feral cats, right? So these are like wild cats, you know, like, they're scruffy, they've sometimes got an ear missing or something. And I dreamt that I got chased into my house by a feral cat. And I got in, I was like, I couldn't get my breath, and I woke up, and I'm looking around my bedroom, no cat. Then I thought, would you let a cat chase you? And I thought, I probably would. It looked horrible as well, but anyway, that was my dream. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and then I had trouble getting back to sleep again because I was thinking, is the cat in the house? I do talk some shite. Pazzy saying, "Oh mate, like catching you, late catching today, busy at work. Clara was so solid last night. He was unlucky in my opinion." We was unlucky, Paz, and I was just making the point actually that I just went through the sort of average marks that all the players got through 5 or 6 different apps, and Clara, Neumann, Beagle, Clara, Neumann, Wagner, Solis, Osman were the top scorers in the Blues team, and then like the right hand side all struggled. So Dux, Stansfield, Roberts and Asai Samuel all got lower marks, and that was, like I said when I first come on, they were sort of Albion flooded that side of the pitch to stop our attacks down the right. A lot of it come down the left early on, but we had no chance of playing out of defence on the right. And as the game went on, like Albion pressed our centre backs more, and it looks to me like their manager, I forget his name, probably said to them, like, you know, the 2 Birmingham centre backs, if we press them and hurry them, they're going to make mistakes in passing. And to be fair, it sort of worked. You know, Neumann looked. The more Neumann was pressed, the more hurried he looked, the worse his balls were, and that's obviously going to happen, plus the conditions. But I think Neumann and Clara had good games last night, and Wagner, and those, you know, that central partnership of Clara and Neumann, I think, has to stay. You know, I know we bought a left-sided centre half for a reason, and that's because we want to play a left-footed centre back, so that Clara doesn't look uncomfortable tackling on the left-hand side. I mean, the man put his head in everywhere last night, didn't he? And he's got a gorgeous big square head in his, so he's like boom. He got a little kick in the gob once. Don't bother Clara, he's all. I mean, he ain't the prettiest, is he? He ain't going to spoil his looks. So he was like, yeah, God, gets a kick in the face, I'm going to put my head down there. And we won a free kick. I don't even know, to be honest, if I think that was a free kick, because I think it was more like head to boot than boot to head, you know. But they should have definitely had a player sent off with that tackle on Pike. I think it was Pike. Absolutely crunched him, you know, and the commentators were saying, oh, you know, like he'll probably get a yellow for that. And then when they rewatched it, they were like, oh my God, that should have been a red, and it should have been. It was horrible. He was a very lucky boy. But yeah, Paz was unlucky, mate, and I think, by the way, I'll just mention it while we're on. We have got a couple of things going on in the near future. We're going to be joining the other 7 groups or 6 groups doing the for Easter eggs for the kids and that. So we'll let you know what you can do for that. We are having our own little auction very shortly, which you'll be looking. You can see Emma will be in charge of that, and you know we do need. We have obviously got our lottery funding, but that's for that specific project. For our other projects like the kids kits and stuff like that, we need to generate our own money. So you guys are always absolutely brilliant with us, and I'm sure we can rely on you again to help us a little bit. You know, everything at the moment is looking great in terms of the project. We are like just under the 25,000 members now. We put nearly 1,000 members on every month, you know, irrespective of what happens. No one else does that. We've got just about 2 million visits a month, a calendar month, 28 days last month, and we got something like, I think that works out like about 80,000 visits a day to our site, and when the website comes out we can do a lot more stuff. So you'll be able to sort of, if you want to get blues news and anything like that, you can go straight into the RSS feed on our site. So you can put the site on your phone, give it a click, go into it, and it will have all the latest blues news on one side at the bottom, the Facebook feed. So if you want to go into Facebook from our group, you go into it. When we do a live, if I do a live into YouTube, and I'm hoping Facebook as well, we can do it from the website. So you can come on the website and watch it, or you can, just sit, watch it however you want to. You can sit in Facebook and watch it, and then all of our YouTube stuff will be in there as well. We've just got loads of stuff. We've got an absolutely amazing history section that's going in there. So this is going to be more about, it's not like, you got a photo of your dad's FA Cup final ticket in 1956 or whatever. I mean, if you've got one, we'll put it into our history section. But it's more about, do you remember so-and-so, Do you remember this person, that person? Do you remember this song we used to sing? Do you remember the man that used to walk around the pitch with a tear on his back? Do you remember the freezing cold pies, and if you got a warm one, you took it back because it wasn't cold? I spent my first 5 or 6 years of my life thinking that you ate steak and kidney pies cold. Never got one at home, I only had them at the Blues. And when they give me a warm one once, I thought, fucking hell, something wrong with this. Excuse me, mister, you give me, this pie's hot. It's supposed to be, son. But I always used to wonder, I don't know, any of you've got guys that used to go to St Andrews years ago. Just before half time, so it'd be like, I don't know, 40 minutes. You'd see them coming out, walking around the pitch with these trays of pies, and then going up the back, up to the back of the cop, to give them to the into the little shed for the people to put in to the pie heaters, And that's like 2 minutes before half time. So half time from everybody comes up, bubble the pie, bubble the pie, bubble the pie, bubble the pie. So the pies have been in there about 30 seconds. That's why I grew up thinking you eat pies cold, because of that. I'm still partial to a cold pie. I don't drink Bovril anymore. We can't get it in Spain. All the bulls have been killed. It's terrible bullfighting, isn't it? Not good. But anyway, I forget what I was saying now. I was saying something before I started talking crap. Oh yeah, so we're going to talk about people. So, like if you remember someone from them days and you go, oh, do you remember so-and-so? And people will come and go, yeah, It's a nice memory of people that may have died, We've all of us have lost a lot of people recently, and the older you get, the more people you lose, and we've got a lot of big losses in blues fans, and let's have a little bit of memories of these people and photos and talks. And Pete Hannon is going to be running that, and who better to do than that, Pete? He can't remember what he did 15 minutes ago, but he'll tell you exactly where he was, in 1962, blah blah blah, But so it's great to have a good memory like Pete. So I think we're probably going to leave it there. We have actually run over the hour, and I can't believe we've only had 55 comments, but that's the way it goes. Sometimes we get people that post a lot, sometimes we get ones that don't. I just want to say actually a really good post that Harry Parker put on this morning. It's what I referred to earlier, was the one where Malumbi had Priska in a headlock when he was heading the ball and was being held by him. It was a penalty all day long. You've only got to look at it, and the referee is literally 3 feet away looking at it, and he disallowed the goal for Dimmy being offside. That referee needs to hang his head in shame, doesn't he? Absolutely awful. Before I went off then. Listen guys, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I'll go on a bit, and I know I got a little bit heated about the whole thing, about slating the players, but we ain't having it. It ain't going to happen with us. So please, if you do feel you got to slate a player, go and do it somewhere else, because we just don't want it to happen in our group. We're nice people in our group. We don't want it to happen. You can make a comment about a player. I don't think a player played particularly well, but when it's obvious that someone's got a target on the back. When you draw 0-0 at home, you haven't conceded a goal, you've played pretty well, you've had 65% possession, you've had more shots on goal, your XG is 2.5, and the first thing you mention when you come out of the game is The keeper was shit, wasn't he? You know, tells you everything. Harry Parker saying, remember Benny, the St John's ambulance man who looked like Benny Hill. I don't remember, Harry, but I just made a comment about your post, Harry, actually. So don't say I never do anything for you. Paz, it's a good job you put that SOTV on, son, because I was beginning to wonder if it was a fraudster sneaking in. Because you wouldn't make a post without saying that. So I don't remember Benny Hill, but I'm sure some people do, so I'll be able to talk about Benny when we get the new website up and running, which will only be a couple of weeks. Lee, I'll be saying, why was Robbie Williams at the game? I don't know. Cause he's a Port Vale supporter, isn't he? Steve Maguire saying, cheers, Steve. Cheers, Steve. Cheers, Steve, as well. Cheers, mate. I don't know why he was there. Guest of someone, I don't know. But he's from. He is a Port Vale supporter. I know a few Stoke fans that know him, and they hate him because of Port Vale. I sort of like Robbie in a way. I've seen him live at where was it? But it's really good live, like one of the outdoor ones, you know. Begins with a N. You'll tell me in a minute. Paz, think his drummer mate is a blues fan. Oh, is he? Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. Paz. Nebworth. He was live at Nebworth. It does begin with a N. And I think, does it begin with a K? I think it does. But, you know, listen, whether you love him or not, he's a bit of a showman, isn't he, Robbie Williams? He is like, he's got it, he has, you know, fair play to him. And I know a lot of you hate him, probably. I don't know. I just think he's alright. Harry Parker saying, you must be ill, agree with me. I am a bit ill still, I've still got a bit of a snotty nose. But, no, I mean, it was a good thing you pointed out there, Harry, with Malumbi, you know, hugging Priska to death. No, I don't know what you never knew, Lee, but I guess I didn't either. Steve Maguire, he played Wolves, Civic night before, so probably down this way. Yeah, it could be. But Wolves, Civic, is probably nearer to his home than it is to ours, although he won't live in Stoke anymore. I mean, you wouldn't live in Stoke, would you, unless you had to, or you was in prison. So, yeah, he probably lives in London, doesn't he? Or Solihull or something. I don't think he'd be living in Stoke. So, I don't know. Anyway, don't matter. It was nice to have him there. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you were a neutral last night, the first half would probably have bored you to death. Well, not really, because there's a bit of action in it, wasn't there? And the second half was, you know, towards the end was absolutely like they were hanging on by the skin of their teeth, weren't they? And but the referee made sure that they weren't going to lose. So fair enough. Thank you, ref. We'll remember that when it comes to voting for referee of the year. Is there such a thing? Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much, and I'm going to be on again on Friday, I think. I might do tomorrow. Probably be Friday to do the Leeds preview, or Saturday even. We're doing. There's a meeting that if anyone's interested, at Diggerty's on Saturday lunchtime ish, 11 o'clock. Where Justice for the 21. We've got a big meeting. Everyone's invited. You can go along, have a little listen to Julie and all those people. If you can't make it, let me know. I'll send you a link, because I'm doing a podcast link to it as well. So you know, it might be interesting. Honestly, don't know what Julie's going to say. I did speak to her yesterday, but I think it's just like an update on where we are with everything at the moment, and how things for Justice for the 21 are going. But yeah, thank you for speaking to me, Lee. Be lucky as well, mate, to you. Hopefully we get the results on Sunday. Please take a step back, look at last night's game. We didn't play badly. We were very, very unlucky. We took a point. We're still right in there in the mix. So don't look at the league position, look at the points total. You might think we need a bit more than 69. I think 69 will do it, but let's wait and see. But thank you guys, you've been absolutely brilliant again as usual, and listen, keep right on, keep the faith, forever blue. Come on guys.